Hello, everybody. My name is Sarah, and I am a LuLaRoe consultant. I am creating this page for my group and the girls who are in my quebies, in order to help train them. So I got really talented and wrote my name backwards. It's super awesome. Yeah, LuLaRoe SaraLyn. So that's me. My handwriting sucks, but I figured out how to write it backwards, and I was pretty proud of myself. So I'm making this channel for my quebies to help them out, get them trained. What I'm initially kind of starting with is there is an article called 30 Things to Do while you're waiting to onboard. And so I thought I would kind of work through some of that. The information is pretty self-explanatory, but it'll kind of help you further get into the process, especially my girls. And I thought, you know, by doing it here on a Google Hangout, potentially other people, it might be helpful to them, depending on what kind of relationship they have with the sponsor or if they've been able to see this article. So I'm going to go ahead and deal with the first issue that they talk about, which is to set up a My UPS account. So I want to go into explaining why this is important and why to do it. You can watch another YouTube video on how to or why, like how to all set it up and how it all works. Not really why, but how it all works. However, I'm not the person to do that. YouTube can help you that. I can just explain the process behind it and how it relates to your LuLaRoe journey. So the biggest thing with LuLaRoe is with signing up with the My UPS is once you're in the system, LuLaRoe, when they ship an item, it'll go ahead and notify you, which this is incredibly helpful in the amount of calls or wondering when things are arriving. So once you're registered and logged in, what will happen is, depending on how you set up your account, again, don't ask me how, but once you're done setting up your account, it will notify you. I get it via text message, but I can also log on to My UPS in order to see and track my shipments. Personally, for me in my location, I will get a notification and then the next day it'll change to 1 day behind. That's how it's mostly been ever since I began. I think it's just the way that when the label's printed and then when it's shipping and delivering. And so I'm here to say that sometimes that does slip and those days do change. Home office actually has 5 to 7 days to even process your order, and then they have shipping on top of that. So technically it can take almost up to about 2 weeks, give or take, depending on which coast you live on. But it's good to plan ahead and account for this ahead of time, knowing that you could be 2 weeks out ordering. So it makes it a little difficult. It's called blind ordering when you're kind of guessing what you're going to sell. But as you become more successful and as you're selling more frequently, you get a feel for different seasons, what you're kind of picking up. Once you're able to, and as long as you're building your inventory wide, which we talk about in LuLaRoe, if you're doing that and you have plenty and multiple sizes, you should be able to sustain that through your shipping process if you're ordering after your next parties and things like that. If you are trying to order thin but carry all the different items, this becomes a disadvantage for you because you possibly could run out of sizes in between pop-ups or in between shipments. So I highly, highly recommend what LuLaRoe says, which is to build, I guess, deep before wide. I think that's the saying. I'm not obviously a professional at this, that kind of thing. So don't mind me, as I am a little bit scatterbrained sometimes, but I am who I am and I love me. So I'm here and I want to share this information and get the kind of information behind the scenes of, rather than, oh, I logged on and I made it My UPS. Why am I doing this? So LuLaRoe will print the label, you'll get the notification, and you should be able to track your shipments. Within My UPS, and like I said, I get a text message, some people might get emails, those kinds of things. I'm able to see the expected delivery date. If I go into My UPS, I actually can go into my calendar and look at all the potential shipments that they're coming and when they are potentially due in. I have had packages changed due to inclement weather. I have had packages delayed because UPS obviously didn't get to me that night, and so then it's rescheduled for the next day. Once it leaves the LuLaRoe facility, it really is on my UPS, and that's who you need to be contacting. So in particular, I had a package that I expected to arrive, and I was kind of going out of town. So I contacted them directly to find out like how I could get or when it could be delivered. You can interfere the packages and pick them up at your UPS facility. Typically, if this is not established right away, it lengthens the process. At least for me, when I have said I want to pick up the package on my own because I'm really excited to get my new inventory, then this slows down the process, which is not as effective as just letting it come to you. And I know it's frustrating, and I know we all sometimes like get really anxious, but it's super worth it once you open that box and see all the different items that you have to offer. So I highly, highly recommend registering for this, and that be one of the first things you do. Then you know it's out of the way. So once your time in the queue is up, woohoo, yay, you finally get the opportunity to see that notification come across. You can't ever really tell what packages are coming. You see it by weight. And after a while, you start to get good at it, and you can figure out what kind of things weigh what. So if you have multiple orders kind of coming down the line, you're kind of guessing based on what you ordered and the weight of the packages, what things look like. Also, you know, just it's a surprise, and that's one of the awesome benefits of being a LuLaRoe consultant is it feels like Christmas when we open these boxes. And if it doesn't feel like Christmas, then that's a whole nother training. But it all has to do with perspective and how you will see that not your personal preference sells on the rack. Everybody has such unique designs, and everybody has such unique flavors and tastes that many things sell that I thought never would sell. And I've had things that I've sat and been like, oh my gosh, how is nobody bought that? So it all comes back full circle. So as you're waiting in the queue, this is one of the very first things you can do. Sign up for a My UPS account. This is very, very beneficial. This is how you will know your packages are coming to you. This is how you know you can track them, and it cuts down the calls into home office asking where packages are. You need to talk to your sponsor about how to see within Audrey. There's like a little button where you can see whether your order is starting to be processed. I've seen that button used, and it doesn't necessarily identify that it is being packaged, but the process has started. I'm not going to share that necessarily on YouTube. I don't know if it's sensitive information. I doubt that it really is, but that's something your sponsor can definitely help you with in the Audrey training. Who knows? Probably there's a LuLaRoe Audrey training on there that already shows the little icon I'm talking about. So I'm just looking at my notes real quick to make sure. I think I talked about that. Just tracking shipments. You'll see when LuLaRoe shipped, and then also you can see if something's been rescheduled and know that it's not necessarily on LuLaRoe's end. It also as well can be on UPS's end, and I've seen that on both cases where it has been a warehouse delay due to unforeseen circumstances, but also I've seen weather delays, and I've seen just UPS did not get to my house, and it was scheduled, and then all of a sudden it's the end of the night, and all of a sudden then I get a notification that it's going to be the next day, and so the UPS man, for whatever reason, you know, fell asleep. I don't know what he did. So this is a brief training. I'm going to do more of these. Hopefully they'll be informative, and hopefully I won't go trail off into my own little thoughts. So feel free to keep watching, and I want to thank my group and my QBs for giving me the opportunity to lead them. So have a great night. Bye-bye.